Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban.
Nah.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
What's up, guys? We are back in Epicenter qualifiers for the Americas region. Going to continue as Midas Club Elite take on EWolves. Currently, score is 1-0 in favor of the EWolves after a, let's say, one-sided game one. I'm Mike Larson, going to be joined by Ryu Dota for this second game. Dude, that game, you do to get back into it?
Try to put more pressure on the lanes, and then making sure that Slark doesn't have a free time, because if you think about a Slark, you think about a Morphling. If you don't have ways to counter the Morphling in the later game stages, you have to make a lot happen within either the laning phase by going aggro against him, or from that like 8-minute mark to like the 16-minute mark where he doesn't get completely out of control, where he has a Linken's and he's already halfway to his E-Blade or something along those lines. And that's kind of like the same situation that happened last game. You have to put more pressure onto the Slark, well, but at the same time, EWolves, they might even just switch up the draft. They might have like Juggernaut themselves this time, so it's really hard to say what they're gonna have to do this game, but we'll have to see. An interesting draft for Midas Club. A hero that kind of counters Enigma, and then you just pick the Enigma.
Well, Enigma, Tree, and Protector, and it looks like Midas Club are once again try to lock down some team fight superiority. Crystal Maiden, Abaddon on the EWolves side, definitely a more balanced opening, I would say, for the EWolves side. Crystal Maiden just, straight jungle, at least until you get a couple levels, then you start to roam about. Abaddon towards the offlane, most likely for EWolves. We've seen it a million times before. We've only seen a handful of teams pick up Enigma, let alone have success with it. So Midas Club, I like how they're kind of throwing us a little bit of a curveball here, especially after the last game. But Enigma, Tree, and Protector, definitely an interesting opening to say the least from Midas Club.
Yeah, Tree's very strong, and Tree is the hero that can counter Enigma, so I don't blame them for trying to pick that up, and then as well as banning out the silencer. Maybe they're thinking about if they want to ban the Venge now. Venge is also a very strong hero against Enigma. You can swap out a Black Hole, and then if you have a Venge in the core role, you're going to get more levels up. That means you're going to have a faster level 12 potentially, where you can have a faster swap or longer range swap, and then you're just able to hit buildings. You have more Roche potential when you have the Venge too, but instead they pick out another hero that has more, as well as same kind of potential. You have a lot of negative armor coming in, as well as a lot of right clicks coming in from Shadow Fiend. Not a bad ban. So EWolves, how do they want to play this? What do they want to do for their roamer? I don't think Bounty Hunter is good again, but it kind of worked. What is left? There's no Monkey King. There's no Ricky. Bounty Hunter's not good. Earth Spirit's like the worst hero now in Dota. So
hey man,
sad.
As long as I still see teams pick it, I'm still going to suggest it when we're drafting. But you hit it right on the head. Vengeful Spirit, Core or support, honestly, it still is equally good up against the Enigma, although I do really like Core or Vengeful Spirit with an Abaddon. You could do some pretty obnoxious things aggressively with those two when they're on the same team. Yeah, you have a pretty nice counter towards the Enigma, and you look at Midas Club and what they've decided to ban out in the Silencer. Obviously, a big effort to protect that Enigma's team fight potential, and Shadow Fiend, very similar, protect what the Enigma is going to contribute a little more towards the pushing department, and then you get brickwalled by a Vengeful Spirit. And the Elite Wolves AoE isn't anything huge to write home about. It's Crystal Maiden Nova, some shields. Again, it's not huge, but for Midas Club, this Enigma already is working up against quite a few soft to hard counters. And that's just the risk of picking up Enigma second. I want to say most of the time when we see Enigma, which is, again, very infrequent, he's picked up 4th or 5th when the enemy team really doesn't have that many prepared responses.
Yeah. I predict some team will pick Terrorblade right now. Elite Wolves, maybe they're thinking about it themselves. Midas Club, if they, depending on what Elite Wolves' next pick is, if they know it's Venge Core, Slark. Terrorblade's still not bad against Slark. This is a really good Terrorblade game for them. As you said, Venge is could be either position, but now it's forced into that support. And then Slark is a hero that they wanted to pick up because it's a hero that can deal with the living armor using the Dark Pact, and that's a lot of problems. A lot of problems stem from this living armor. If you don't have ways to take it off in team fights, it can be very problematic. So now they have living armor plus refraction charges. Interesting to deal with the Slark. A lot of negative armor, a building hitter. It fits all the criteria that you kind of want for Midas Club, and then
10 seconds remaining.
I really do love MC's lineup right now. It's very strong, team fight, very good in the mid game. But Elite Wolves, they kind of have their own style, always picking the Slark.
Everyone in South America, all the teams that I've seen, they love their Slark.
They do.
Pretty much no exception. So, I mean, pick up a Slark and you're most likely going to be happy. The concern I have right now for Midas Club is that Slark is always going to be that difficult hero to pin down. You need an abundance of disables, and right now Midas Club don't really have all that much, even enabling the Slark a little more, I guess you could say, since he's already good up against the living armor, as you mentioned. Now really good up against the refraction as well. The Slark has Vengeful Spirit and an Abaddon behind him. Slark is going to be very, very difficult to take out of the fight, and Elite Wolves, sure, ban out a Bloodseeker as well. And how do you deal with the Slark as Midas Club? It just doesn't seem like they have any answers, let alone for the hero that's going to be picked up 5th, who Elite Wolves will have some action with. Vengeful Spirit and CM, once they get level 3, can absolutely smash a TA with the rotation.
Yeah, I think Enigma is the best hero against, well, not the best. There's a lot of good heroes against Slark, but it's one of the best heroes against Slark. All you really need this game is an Enigma, is a Linken's eventually, and then you counter the Venge swap, and then you have Slark. You have Slark where he gets countered heavily by the Black Hole as well as the Midnight Pulse on top of it, where he just goes down to 20% HP, and if he doesn't pop his ulti during that time, he's gonna die. So but at the same time, if you pop your ulti during the whole duration of the Black Hole, then you're left very vulnerable afterwards. So this is the team fight is going to come down to Midas Club Elite. We saw last game how Elite Wolves picked them apart around the map. A little bit different story now. They have a core Lesh. It looks like they really want to push down buildings, and they might be able to. The deep push isn't that strong from Elite Wolves right now.
AoE hasn't really increased since I gave it a rundown earlier. This Leshrac, another hero that we don't really see all that often. I actually really like here. I mean, as far as the AoE is concerned for Midas Club, just another way to mess with Slark or try to soft handle the Slark when he is using that Dark Pact, when he's using the Shadow Dance rather. Leshrac has AoE and then some, and even before this Leshrac pick, I mean, you're working with these 4 heroes minus Leshrac. You're kind of going in just mid-rangey type of strategy with Midas Club with Enigma added on, but now they're really tailored for aggression. And Elite Wolves, I was going to say a Puck would have been looking pretty attractive for them, but they decided instead for a little bit more DPS in that Queen of Pain option versus the Templar Assassin. That matchup is always a little bit tricky. I mean, you have the Shadow Strike to get rid of the refraction, but at the same time, you have Meld. It's definitely a little bit of a cat and mouse game there.
I've run this matchup a lot. You really don't want to go Meld early on as the TA. but at the same time, you might have to, because as you talked about during this matchup, it's kind of weird. At the same time, if you're able to just use your refractions for the Shadow Strike initial damage, and then as well as for some of the other
10
ticks,
seconds
then
remaining.
it's kind of worth it. And then you also have living armor to help you. So I don't
5
think he should go
seconds
meld
remaining.
level 1 or skill it because of the living armor you'll eventually get, as well as shrines. Shrines kind of help it. I'll reference something real quick. You used to go 1-3-1 against Ember Spirit as TA, just so you're able to kill the Ember and you didn't die. But you can't do that anymore. You have to flash farm as TA. You have this shrine to actually help you. And then, so that means that you want to have your max refraction, you want to have at least 2 inside blades most of the time, so you're able to farm out these ancients, you farm out these stacks, and you're being efficient in your farming. Whereas if you go these early meld points and stuff, at times it hurts your farming speed. Even though you might live, it still hurts your farming speed by a lot during these mid game.
We'll see what TA is ultimately going to decide upon. I don't think I've seen a TA get a meld before 6 in a long time, unless, stuff is really different for whatever reason when he hits that extra level mark. But hey, Templar Assassin versus the Quap. We saw the mid lane matchup go really, really heavily in favor of the EWolves side in game 1, so perhaps a repeat performance, perhaps not. Either way, EWolves this time are going to be playing on the Radiant. Got Kataro on the Slark going towards that safe lane. Masoku, Crystal Maiden should be jungling up for the early portion of this game. Horus is going to be on the Vengeful Spirit. I Love Haters on the Quap and Papita. Is he the same person who was here before with a different tag, or might be someone completely new coming in? I don't know, but he's top as the Abaddon.
Yeah. Papita wasn't here last game.
I don't think he was here.
30 seconds.
No, he wasn't. So it's kind of weird. They're just switching accounts. Everything's just weird. I don't understand. This is like a 15-man roster for EWolves. They're just
Well,
they're doing
all tagged up as
tryouts.
stand-in.
They're all doing tryouts right now. Every person. Get a new person every game. This is your tryout. If you win, you're in. If you win, you move on to the next stage, I guess you could say.
Oh, it's a best of 3 double elimination tryout.
Yep.
Worthy tribute.
You didn't get the memo.
That's some next level team selection right there.
Well, sorry. Abaddon messed up his block. It's already over for him. Feels bad.
Pita, he's a longtime veteran of the scene. He is going to be going up against a lane that I'm sure he doesn't go up against all that much. Abaddon is usually going to be fairly durable, full stop, regardless of who's up against in lane, but up against 2 range heroes plus a Treant who functions very similarly to a range hero as far as lane control is concerned, Abaddon is gonna maybe struggle to get as close as he would really like. He's gonna get a little bit of protection, sentry drops, we'll see Ned, but this stun combo is really deadly. And over towards mid lane already. I Love Hater is gonna go hard onto AA, force out the Fairy Fire very early on. Yeah, that's Shadow Strike level 1, pretty good.
Normally, if you would go meld at least, or not meld, refraction level 1. Interesting that he didn't do that.
We see Psyblades sometimes being picked up against a little bit of rougher matchups. Maybe just didn't expect I Love Haters to go that hard at level 1, because you do need the extra range, otherwise a melee TA is pretty crappy. But, man, you definitely got kind of blindsided by that one. Venge is actually going to look to cut off the courier over mid. And I think she has it. Horus has this one in the bag. 1 shot, 2 shot. Dead courier and Templar Assassin at least got a health delivery beforehand. But, man, she's chewing through that regen super quickly without a way of getting more. And hey, your salve gets canceled as well. Feels bad, man. This Templar Assassin is having a rough time.
Another thing I really dislike is this approach from Midas Club Elite. Their approach to the off lane. Enigma, normally you can deny the range creep, and I don't understand right now. I'm actually a little tilted as a caster and as an offlane player because I've been playing offlane a lot. They've managed to block both of these camps, and yet he didn't start in the offlane denying, and you can completely keep denying. I don't know what's going on, man. I'm so confused right now.
I mean, at the end of the day, this observer ward doesn't even give you much useful vision. I don't know. It just seems like these are just kind of annoying wards being placed down by the Midas Club side, but annoyance doesn't really get you that far in Dota. Ooh, Templar has to pick up Mel, did use it to dodge Stat Strike, so she does have that one going for her, but I mean, Horus is, yeah, going to be mildly inconvenienced by the fact that he doesn't have these camps to work with, but it's a Vengeful Spirit. She already got a Courier Snipe. She just needs to leech level 2, and then she can just go do something else in some other lane with that Magic Missile, maybe help out for another kill over in the mid lane or something like that, or a kill in the mid lane, and CM obviously isn't going to touch those creeps because she has other options to work with. It does seem like a little bit of a waste, but I mean, at the end of the day, still Enigma's level 4. He's getting a lot of income. No one's doing anything to stop him, so that's a pretty happy farm rate for him.
At least he's doing good. Mid lane, I want to see how he goes for this. I think the skill build in this situation was like 2-1-2, but he might still go the 3-1-1. I still think you need 2 Inside Blades at a relatively good time. And then bottle carrying for the mid lane here for Queen of Pain. It's going to help him get up. The problem is he missed 2 Smelt Strikes, and then he was out of mana. But they have CM, they have bottle crewing. TA's life is a living hell right now, especially when that courier did get picked off earlier, so...
AA just taking right clicks 24/7. I mean, it's been tough, and yeah, now he's finally gonna get some living armor. Trian probably just now picks up level 2. It's gonna get a little bit more rough since Vengeful Spirit and CM are, I mean, pretty much their entire purpose as supports, at least in its early stages. Get a couple levels and then make some early game rotations 9 times out of 10 towards that mid lane. So AA is struggling in the 1v1, is most likely going to be going up against a 3v1 at some point in the near future. CS wise, he's actually doing really well considering how much of a beating he's been taking. But yeah, it's not going to really get any easier for him. And CS wise in general, the Dire aren't doing too bad compared to last game.
Yeah, the TA had about 7 last hits when the Queen of Pain had about 15, so it was looking bad, but then it just snowballed a little bit better for them. Meanwhile, they're going to dive bottom lane.
Magic Missile, Pounce, Pact. The damage is going to be huge, and the Enigma will fall. The Eidolon's also going to give it a little bit of extra bonus cash there to the Slark. Deep dive that you perhaps don't expect as the Enigma, but hey, a kill's a kill. And top lane, similar attempts being made on the Abaddon. He's going to teleport out there just fine. First blood for EWolves, and Enigma, an unhappy return to his lane. He's going to stick around, and yeah, he may be able to get some cash out of this, but Lark, Venge, and CM is a very, very deadly tri-lane.
Right, and the other thing is, I want to talk about the other tri-lane too. It's kind of weird to see Tree kind of go for this Poor Man Shield earlier. I forgot to talk about it. You normally go that for the Monkey King, but in this game you don't really need a Poor Man Shield to zone out the tree, just because you already have a lot of base damage, and then the poison, the Orb of Venom would have been a lot better, I feel, for zoning him out and being more effective. And then you'd also have more gold for faster boots eventually. Double stun onto Queen of Pain. Side Blades are not hitting right now. If the Side Blades had hit, it would have gotten a kill there.
That was a triple cask bounce, or triple stun, let's say, from the cask. And a Maledict very, very quickly off the bat. You know, Venge was there, maybe could have saved with Magic Missile or something along those lines, but either way, rotation from the Witch Doctor, not really going to do a hell of a lot in the end. I mean, you mentioned that the Poor Man Shield, lack of Orb of Venom. The Pepita Abaddon is having a very free time. I thought he would be a little more under the gun, honestly. He's not doing anything to touch. Oh, mid lane, actually, they caught up to the Templar Assassin. And yeah, it's a 3v1. But, oh, over towards bottom lane, it's a black hole being used on the Slark with the rotation from the Witch Doctor. So, fair is fair in a 1-for-1 trade across the map.
And this is just good rotation coming in from both supports. Playing a little bit greedy in the mid lane is TA. TA was past the phase where she had to worry about getting killed by Queen of Pain, and she's been doing really well for herself. So that's nice to see. And then Trying to do a Shadow Strike. Still trying to be cute. Let's see if there's any stacks built up for the TA. Right now, there's nothing for her to really work with. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But at the same time, she should not die again unless they make another good rotation.
CM and Venge made the rotation for a kill, but also ended up not being there when the Slark died. So I guess it's a question of, do we want to apply even more pressure to this TA, or do we want to guarantee that our Slark has a decent time? Speaking of Slark, gonna get a full pack pounce onto the Enigma. A little bit of frostbite action there from Masoku, and it will be an easy kill. And well, Witch Doctor stepped out of lane for like 5 seconds, and then his Enigma dies. So yeah, these supports definitely needed to keep their more heavy cores alive in this lane. And Slark has actually gone for Hand of Midas first. EWolves are going to really get a lot of power farm out of this hero, getting kills, getting full CS, and getting Midas acceleration.
Top lane pressure being applied. Tower has already been fortified. Sting Papita looks to be dead.
Can he sneak in level 6? He got it. And Venge is coming in. They do see Leshrac and Leshrac only. There is no detection here at all, so Tree is completely fine. You really have to be careful chasing after Leshrac because of how ridiculously damaging Diabolic it is. But they see him and they have a Sonic Wave, so they can just take him out right here. He's going to try to teleport out of here. It will not work. Pita getting a level 1 Mist Coil off and getting the kill.
At least they got a return kill in the Venge. That was funny. A one
All
for
planned.
one trade. Meanwhile, get a lot more levels on the tree top, and then as well as this Enigma's heavily pressuring bottom. So the map control this game is going to favor MCE a lot, especially because we talked about the greed. And Slark is going to Midas, so he's not going to have a fast Shadow Blade, and he's just doing it this game because he knows how scary the scaling of MCE are this game. So he kind of needs to scale a lot more into this game because he knows that this game is not going to be easy compared to last one.
Radiant's middle tower.
Slark may have that Midas to keep up and keep competitive with the scaling of Midas Club, but Midas Club have already been doing a lot of push damage with this Enigma, and the Leshrac, same thing up towards top lane when the two of them joined forces with perhaps a Desolator pickup in the near future from the Templar Assassin structures will fall very quickly from EWolves. And at that point, maybe EWolves can start to make some sort of trade there. Horus is not moving in the bottom lane and just going to die because he was standing still. It's a Vengeful Spirit, but that is the most easily avoidable death I've seen in my entire life. And it will be the death of the tower as well. Midas Club, they're just going to tear through these structures.
I just don't know how they're going to be able to defend these towers with their heroes. This is super hard for EWolves this game to win these team fights, and they're eventually going to have to. If they don't, they're just going to lose all their structures. So, and it looks like Abaddon's going back for a Midas. They're just going super all in for like 50-60 minute game here. That might not work out.
If they had a Keeper of the Light or a hero of similar clearing ability, I would say that I'd be a little bit more on board with that. But again, their AoE is a Nova from the Crystal Maiden, level 1, so that's amazing.
They got Freezing Field now too. He's level 6. They find the Witch Doctor, but not gonna get the skill. Maybe.
Witch Doctor's not gonna get any bounces. And the two supports are going to do it. Masoku, his Freezing Field also going to do a lot of damage to Ned and burn through a couple of those refraction charges, but it's a TA versus a CM and an Enigma. That's cheating. It'll be a 1-for-1 over in the Shrine area. Again, not really going to be too huge for either side, but yeah, mass Midases with no AoE, no clearing, really risky way to go. Maybe if they can get like a Shadow Blade type item on the Slark, get this Queen of Pain involved very heavily, and try to just keep Midas Club separated. I mean, the Leshrac is kind of more on the softer side, at least for right now.
Yeah, if they had a Shadow Blade right now on the Slark, the Lush would have been dead there. Because of the rotations, he would have got more movement speed. But having this Midas it hurts a lot for your kill potential, especially early on. And then now there's no Abaddon ulti. If you don't have Abaddon ulti, your front line say goodbye to your front lines. I'm surprised they don't pressure this more. setting the
Club
trap
are
for
going
TA.
to get baited. Oh, double damage rune, so attractive for the TA, but the Slark is the one who ends up grabbing it. And the TA walked right into that one. Speaking of walking right into that one, Ned is going to get swapped back by the Venge. She's level 6. Masoku and Venge really teaming up together so that Slark can get the kill. I mean, I mentioned earlier, these supports are actually incredibly huge threats, and they're doing a lot more just by themselves than I really expected. And this is actually going to smooth over the power curve of EWolves by quite a bit. I mean, when you get Midases, you don't expect to get kills. But if you somehow do right after you pick up the Midases, then the sunk cost of that 2k gold, the difference vanishes pretty quickly.
Still have the problem that, well, I guess the TA keeps dying though. 1 and 2, not having the great game. Meanwhile, Venge is going to be picked off here bottom lane. Tower has already been taken down to half HP too, so having a hard time saving their bottom towers. Now with Midas Club Elite, they really should save their towers. Like, it's more important for them to save their towers because they have tree armor instead of trading. They don't even need to trade. I would like to see some TPs top, and now it looks like they're just going to content to farm. I guess that's just what they want to do.
You don't even need that many heroes to push for Midas Club, so if they really want to take this bottom lane tier 2, just throw some summons down there, have the Leshrac stick around for a couple seconds with Edict, and the tower is gone. Still no response from top. They're looking to make a trade over in the mid lane where Queen of Pain is there and vulnerable. He is completely without backup, but at a really good defensive angle with creeps, with the tower, and, well, Cask can look to try to chain it straight to the Quap. That was ambitious. I like the attempt, but not going to work out this time. Still, they should probably get the tower, and hell, they could even start to set up for Roshan. I mean, they do it really quickly.
Meanwhile, Mark on the back.
Mark has Shadow Blade. Wandering in straight towards the Enigma. He does have a black hole in response, but the Sonic Wave is going to put a quick end to the Enigma. Now the Freezing Fuel will immediately get canceled by the Overgrowth. TA still going to be just fine to go straight for the CM, but that's going to cost her life most likely. Well, the Death Ward. The TA is going to survive off in the back until the Quap shows up and shuts her down. Pepita, Horus, kiting away from the Leshrac. Not that much HP, so maybe they're going to call his bluff and dive in anyway. He's going to stick up. Will survive for a lot longer with the Cask bouncing through and the Edict. EWolves are disrespecting this Leshrac, and the amount of damage he's able to put out. Pepita and Horus, they survive, but it is going to be a 2-for-3 trade in favor of Midas.
Yeah, they got a tower too, as well as killing up the Slark. And then the Bloodstone is now complete for Lesh. This is looking very good for MP this game. And meanwhile, mid lane, they don't have the 5 seconds left. Did he have death? No, didn't have enough.
Ultimate is still going to be popped. That creep wave there with the Maledict also. Horus is going to wander into an Enigma, some body blocking action perhaps. Black Hole for a Vengeful Spirit? Probably not. So they're going to let her go this time. Pretty well executed team fight there from the Midas Club side. Again, the Leshrac right now isn't really the tankiest hero in the world, so yes, very burstable by the EWolves side. But if you aren't able to get on top of him, if you don't keep vision on him, especially if he's able to juke into the trees like we just saw. Diabolic Edict level 4 plus Pulse Nova, even though it's only level 1, that will mess up your day. Messes up Quap's day. She's fairly soft herself, only 1000 HP. Was considering Yules earlier, now gonna go for an Orchid instead.
Probably gonna need the Orchid instead of the Yules. Yules is really nice to have against the tree. You can also cancel Black Hole too. Far away. Blink in, finally has it on TA. Meanwhile, Slark versus Tree.
He has sentries. He can get this kill unless TPs happened 5 seconds ago. Tree armor gonna hold actually, even with the pact, and he will be just fine to walk out of there. In the meantime, Queen of Pain, TA having a little bit of a tussle. They're TP out, and no one's gonna die from that one either. But no kills for either side is perfectly fine for Midas Club. They're more powerful in the push department right now. 2 tier 1s down, which of course opens the door for Roshan. Again, Edict minus armor from the probably soon to be Desolator. Not quite so soon, but yeah, the Roshan is going to be hard for EWolves to contest when Midas Club decide to finally go for that objective.
EWolves are doing a really good job so far this game. They have lost 3 towers, but it could be a lot worse in this situation. They've managed to find a lot of great pickoffs around the map. just to stop the enemy team from advancing, just 5-man death falling. And then they're also just splitting up the map quite nicely. So they're keeping this game very competitive. It's still going to be very hard for them. They need to get, I guess their go time is going to be this Radiance on Abaddon or something along those lines. But like you said, it's going to be very hard for them to contest Roche. I'm going to see if they even want to. Maybe they could trade for a tower or something while MC they do Roche.
Feels like that's probably their best bet, but same exact issue as last game. Doesn't really take them that long. Midas Club just clear out Roshan and Slark, Quap. Heroes, well, maybe with the Abaddon there for the extra attack speed, will maybe be able to take down a tower, but that's through Treant armor, and it's really going to be a narrow margin there. Whereas for Midas Club, even if they take Roche and lose a tier 1 tower, not the end of the world for them. They're still perfectly happy to keep playing as per normal. So Midas Club, only 3 tier 1 towers right now, as you've said. Is that more so because EWolves are playing that well? It also seems like Midas Club are working with a lot of assets, but not really going whole hog with them. Although the Slark going to pick a fight with the wrong people. Death Ward is going to do a big fat goose egg. Dowdan's going to get Slark a lot of distance, pounce away, but still Meld Strike hits hard. Maledict might tick him out. One more shot, regen. Oh, he's going to get some help from the Abaddon. He'll be just fine. That was a little bit too close for comfort. He's going to test the TA again. Thinking about it.
I don't think he can with a DD plus no ulti. If he has ulti there, he can.
Pita's going to challenge the TA. He does have his ultimate. It's going to do very little to heal him. They're messing with Midas Club a lot. And over in the mid lane, Bardo is going to get swapped back into some ice. Super dead Witch Doctor there. And these pickoffs are how EWolves defend their towers, right?
Yep, that's what they have to do. And meanwhile, Lesh is coming in. You definitely don't want to mess with the Lesh.
Back with Black Hole support, Mechanism support on the Enigma as well. Leshrac is, probably past that point where he's still that very soft intelligence hero in the lane, and with the Bloodstone, with the cloak coming, with the cloak and the Eul Scepter coming up, he is going to be a tough nut to crack. Everyone on Midas Club kind of getting to that stage as well. But 20 minutes in, and with only 3 tier 1s taken, with no Roche attempt just yet from Midas Club, I think this pace of the game might just be good enough for EWolves. With all these Midases they've picked up, they're going to get the Orchid onto the Templar Assassin. She has a lot of help, but the Sonic Wave and the Freezing Field will cut through it immediately. And TA will wander up the hill pretty much by herself and go down, but off in the side, we got ourselves a Black Hole usage on the Slark. Another 1-1 trade on cores. And Horus is... Why is Horus up here? Anyone know why Horus is here?
Same thing what happened to the TA, man. TA was like, oh, there's a free CM kill. I'm just gonna go try and do that. Well, there's actually people around, and then he's like, oh, well, I want this free rune here. Let me just go there. And then all of a sudden, there's 3 heroes from the other team. Interesting. Everybody just likes committing Sudoku this game.
Game is a little bit more of a Midas game on both sides, actually. Treant picked up that hand of gold as well as the Enigma, who picked his up quite a long time ago at this point. So there's going to be 2 on each side, with I don't think anyone else picking any more Midases up. We are definitely going to be buckled in for the late game. And it does seem like Midas Club, with this advantage they have right now, have a slight edge in that regard. I'm not a huge fan of Queen of Pain late game, although I haven't really seen this Maelstrom lifesteal build all that often. That and Slark really going to be enough to pull them through this?
Well, with the way TA is playing this game, maybe. Same time, though, it's very scary for their team fight. Like I said, the Enigma is basically this all-powerful god this game. He's pretty much the make or break. They have really only one way to stop it. Once he gets the BKB plus the Lincolns, I think he should go Lincolns first. It's going to be impossible for them to stop a Black Hole, and then that can just single-handedly win you the game. BKB on Slark for this fight.
Get the Leech Seed on the Slark, still with that Abaddon sword. He's going to tear through it pretty quickly. Living armor goes up. That will also be dealt with. Damage being traded. Kataro seems like he wants to go in. He's got a fresh BKB of his own. But ultimately, it'll be EWolves to be the team to make a straight push into a tier 1 tower, and Midas Club have no response. Again, I'm feeling like Midas Club have a lot more power in their draft that they're just not using right now.
Well, it's because the last 2 black holes that they've used are kind of these solo pickups on Slark, and they're not transitioning to towers or Roche. They're just not being effective. Meanwhile, TP's here. They know who's here.
Oh, there's no black hole for another 40. Slark's going to know about that. He's going to go straight for the Enigma. CM's going to draw the attention of the TA. In the meantime, where's the Quap? Pizza's in the middle of everything. They are going to lose the Vengeful Spirit. Sonic Wave cuts through. Most down to the Templar Assassin. With the Slark's help, they'll bring her down. It's a 2-for-1 so far. They're going to walk into the Death Ward, take a truckload of damage. As will Ned, though, as he gets a little bit too close to that pact. Trying to go invis in the trees. Living armor is there. Where are those sentries from earlier? They're going to try to deforce their way to a kill. Well, he's actually going to break his own invis. Now with the Orchid, Pounce is going to land as well. And there's a pact. Just enough mana for it. That will kill off the Treant. It's a 2-for-2, but TA being dropped in exchange for only a handful of supports. A pretty nice win for EWolves, as Midas Club deciding to fight without their black hole is fairly risky.
I'm really surprised they decided to leave their tree just to die. They're very strong. Abaddon ulti was popped, BKB was popped on Slark. Honestly, Lesh could have just 1v3'd in my eyes. Even if they orchid him, he just cast Yules. They also had the Witch Doctor as well as the Enigma. Enigma had 15 seconds left on the black hole when they started backing out. And if you just keep baiting the time, biding your time, just making a little bit more space here and there, they could have successfully done something. Well, they look like they grouped up. They have a gem now on the Lesh. He's going to be the frontliner right now. Let's see if he finds anyone. Finds CM.
CM. I think CM is maybe dead. I don't know. Decent chance. Yeah, well, there goes the CM. Again, it's another pick off, I guess, for Midas Club. They didn't have to expend anything substantial for it, but just getting all these random support pickoffs, that is not going to be how Midas Club end up winning this game. They do need to, I feel like, find a Quap or a Slark or an Abaddon, then take Roche. Again, this is just such an easy objective for them to take, but instead they're going to try to separate. Templar Assassin does have a blink out with Refraction Shield up, but going to run into a magic missile, and there goes her blink dagger. She has backup kind of nearby. The living armor there. They have no detection, really. Okay, Horus has no detection, so TA gets out of there just fine. Over in the bottom lane, meantime, Black Hole onto the Quap, but Abaddon is there to give her a little bit of extra juice. Still the nuke damage, not quite enough. And it will be the Queen of Pain to jump into trees and survive. Pizza, same thing. Will teleport out of there, split Earth. Actually will slow him down. Radiance is ticking quite a bit, and now the Sonic Wave comes in as Quap makes her return. We'll get healed up one more time by Pepita, and she's still alive. Queen of Pain living at 100 HP. Swap back now. She's jumping in one more time for the Enigma. It's 2 kills for EWolves, as finally Midas Club come in with some reinforcements, but everyone is here for EWolves. Midas Club cannot fight. They're going to lose 2 and a tower. Razor thin margins there for EWolves, but a win nonetheless.
Yep, they're just getting picked apart, and then it's just they're not bringing enough resources to these team fights, or they're just not understanding the objectives that need to be taken in this game. They could easily group up and fight at Roche too with their black hole and force it with the smoke gank. Instead, they decide to go for the black hole play on bottom lane. Abaddon's there, so you need another person there to just make sure you're able to burst the Queen of Pain. And then, if they do get that pick off, then they can go Roche. So I do like their idea, their approach. It's just they didn't have enough burst. And where were the supports? Where was TA? TA was mid, but she could have definitely TP'd, I thought. I don't know. It's just they're playing way too alone right now as a team.
Man, you just need a Death Ward Black Hole combo. Like, Witch Doctor is level 2 on that. More than enough to get the kill. And Masoku's picking a fight with the Enigma. Bold moves from the Crystal Maiden. She'll be just fine. Slark will see the TA, and he's actually going to pounce after her. Looks like that should have landed, but it didn't. Still, we'll get rid of the shield, and is going to do a lot of damage. Quap going to arrive, thinking about throwing some spells. Actually doesn't have the Sonic Wave, but the Magic Missile is there. And Katara will back off. Has BKB, really doesn't want to use it right now. Shadow Blade out, he won't have to. Midas Club sweat a little bit, but it's actually giving the Queen of Pain and the Treant now in a full fight. They get the silence off into the Lishrak. Yule Scepter is there. Quap, no stuns. She's going to jump over the cliffside. and it'll be Horus perhaps to die, but again, much like before, it's a Vengeful Spirit. That's fine. Pepita's shoving the bottom lane. He's actually going to do a lot of damage to this tower.
So also we didn't mention that they lost the gym too. Like we talked a little bit about it, but that gym is the reason why Midas Club Elite can feel safe going around the map with their cores and whatnot. But now they're just like in the same situation as they were last game. And you're like, okay, well, we're roaming around. We don't know where this Slark can be. We're kind of scared to farm on our own because he's picked us off so much last game. He's picked us off so much this game. It's all mental, and then they're just also having to buy all these extra sentries. You can look at the Witch Doctor. He's basically dirt poor. Can't even get his Glimmer Cape. But there is still silver lining, as we've been talking about this whole time. Enigma is still this huge threat in this game. But this is, I can't believe it's 28 minutes in first Roche, and it's not even going to go to the night.
It does seem like Midas Club are very similar to how some like Ursa drafts operate, where they kind of bank on having this additional gold experience and extra life in order to get what they want to get done. It will be a double life, and now EWolves, they will be forced into a situation where, yes, they have to team fight, but with this double life, really doesn't come at a worse time. Enigma's gonna leave. Okay, well, there's no fight here. It might just be Slark grabbing a handful of kills. Gonna find Bardo. TA is gonna get, well, a little bit of help here. Pick a fight with the Slark. Magic Missile is there. BKB forced out. Car's right on top of this TA's ass, though. Sonic Wave is gonna fly through. Not quite enough with the overgrowth, but it actually doesn't connect onto the Quap. Where is she gonna guess? Jump in. Shiva's guard a little bit off. No one is gonna die there. Now that's surprising, but it's still Midas Club. Don't take out the Aegis or anything like that, and they're actually on the defensive at this stage.
Yep, wasted TA's BKB. It's going to be super hard for them to team fight now in the mid lane. Surprising enough, Enigma is going for the BKB. He does need a BKB this game, but...
Oh no, Bardo.
Oh, no. And then
Swap back. This TA, it just seems like every single time it's Midas Club just getting randomly picked off in both games. And now EWolves, I'm pretty sure they didn't have any plans of going high ground, but man, you have Aegis, you took out the TA, she's down for a minute. Lightning Strike is good, really good at clearing out creeps, but it's not really good at killing off an Abaddon and Slark. For beating down your Raxes, that's going to be dealt with very quickly. Now the Treant off to the side will be obliterated. He showed his face, not sticking to the shadows. And that's a full Rax in favor of EWolves, and maybe even a little bit more. If they get a couple kills here, they might just be able to end the game. Leshrac is with Bloodstone, but man, he is not with a lot of help. Enigma's gonna get the hell out of there. He just says, you're on your own, Leshrac. And that's mid lane completely decimated, with tier 2 still up in the side lanes.
Shrines, boys. Get some shrines, get some tier 2s. That's what we're up to now.
3 bags of gold.
You can just see the outclass coming in this game. And it just shows the difference between maybe a tier 2, tier 3 team, where you don't make these silly mistakes. You don't, in normal situations, you're like, okay, well, my Witch Doctor's gonna get killed. I'm going to just let him die. Just let him die. There's no point in trying to save him. Trying to save him for a core. It's just a lot of experience, and this game is honestly on the TA. TA needed to step it up. She hasn't stepped it up at all this game. And then there's still hope in these team fights, because we always talk about the black hole and the synergy that can come from it. But TA has to start. She's gonna have to earn her spot on this team, I guess you want to say, or something along those lines. And these next team fights need to show up pretty big here.
A lot harder for her to function. Shiva's guard on the Queen of Pain, of course, double life on the Slark. Pepita has a blade mail, so I mean, before the Shivas, it was definitely feasible for the TA to deal with the Queen of Pain if she's able to get on top of her in a team fight. At this point, with that Shiva's guard, with the static charge from the Queen of Pain, with just the amount of right clicks Queen of Pain has, I'm not going to say Queen of Pain is able to challenge TA on a 1v1 fight me bro basis, but it is definitely getting close to that stage, especially now with this next item coming up on Queen of Pain. If she's able to pick up an AC, then TA's life once again becomes very, very difficult. She's actually being stalked by a Slark. No, never mind. It's the Enigma. He's gonna run to the Slark. He's been using his black hole pretty consistently on just one hero. I don't really think this is the time to do it. He's gonna try with the TA arrival, but it's an Aegis, so Slark actually could not care less about that. with Black Hole down, the gates are wide open.
Well, good luck defending your high ground now. Kind of like that situation where if you die, you're going to have to buy back, and then you're not going to have a BKB, and life's going to be hard, and they still have an Aegis. Or you cast the Black Hole there, you get the kill, which they did, but now the high ground defense is a lot harder.
Tia is going to present on the front lines, incredibly risky against the swap. She will be just fine for right now. Gets pounced on. BKB is there, but gets bashed. Fresh Abyssal is up onto the Slark. The Growth is going to slow down the Slark somewhat. Pepita is here to give him a little extra juice, and he's going to be able to get into the Shadow Dance. Off to the south they're going to go. Focus onto the Tree and Protector first. Take down that defensive aspect. FNA doing a lot of damage with the Pulse Nova, though. It's stacking up real high. And EWolves, Slark pouncing out of the base, will survive for a little while longer. Now the Queen of Pain will do the same. It's only the CM to actually go down there. They're going to lift up the Leshrac. Yep. He's going to get bashed, and he is going to fall. 55 seconds down. They get the bash onto Templar Assassin. Great cast from Bardo, but still no finishing blows on this Slark. He's able to duck out and get so much Shadow Dance regen. The Leshrac is back, and he's going to try to get what he can. He'll snag a kill on the Quap, albeit barely. Pace forward for a little bit more. Shiva's Guard trying to slow down Pepita. Going to touch him, but off to the side will be the Venge to fall first. Slark is at full HP, and he is going to team up with Pepita to maybe take down his TA. It'll cost them an Abaddon, but Slark is really difficult to deal with right now. Lifted up into the air, and FNA is going to try to man fight to the best of his abilities. Slark is going to want to get the hell out of here because he has no more mana. He has no mana to pounce out of here. FNA should know about it, but he got simply juked right around the trees, and now Slark can reinitiate with the pounce, keeping the Leshrac in range. BKB refreshed, actually, and now FNA is gonna get diced up, even with the living armor from the train who just recently respawned. Slark, with 40 essence shifted, is going to be the sole survivor.
This'll come in handy.
Well, 40 essence shift. Welcome to a world of pain. Dang, that's a lot of extra. 120 here, just right clicking, and that's why even if you have living armor, you're just going to chew through it. The Fusel Blade helps out a lot against the Lesh too, because you're able to burn a lot of that mana, and then just the BKB trump card seal the deal. That was an incredible fight hold, but it cost them 2 buybacks on the cores. So at least this time they're going to have Black Hole up for this next team fight, as well as the BKB. They can still cancel it though with the Venge swap.
They may have that Black Hole, but they don't have the buybacks on the Leshrac or TA. Leshrac is kind of down on Bloodstone charges also, so it's going to take a long time for him to respawn naturally. Enigma, good luck, man.
They also need to find a way to jump in on the backlines with either an Overgrowth or maybe just a TA running at the Venge. Something along those lines. Because if they get the swap off the game on the Black Hole, it's just pretty much game over. And I wanted to say this like 10 minutes ago. This is why you normally don't see this sometimes this Guardian Greaves in certain games, because what purpose did it really serve this game? They didn't really group up as 5 to push as much. Oh, never mind. Hold the thought. Sorry, was nearby. I thought they potentially could find an opening. Just this uselessness from the Greaves, you haven't felt it, whereas if he had the Lincoln, it's supposed to be BKB at this point. Oh, top.
Everything's gonna miss. Alphys doesn't miss, but Pain's just fine. I mean, it does offer him like situational defensive power up against, you know, the Orchid of the Queen of Pain. Yeah, you have quite a few things that you could purge off yourself, but Lincoln Sphere is like non-negotiable as far as defensive power is concerned. You need to protect yourself up against that swap of the Vengeful Spirit, just as like an emergency scenario, just in the worst case. Vengeful Spirit will get picked off here most likely. I don't think there's any sort of fight here. They will see the Enigma, try to force out a BKB charge. He's not going to fall for it. Purge that one off to the river though. Templar Assassin gonna run into 2 heroes. That's not where he wants to be. Where's the Black Hole from the Enigma? He's off in the side. He's gonna jump in now with the Black Hole onto 2 heroes. Damage being done to the Slark pretty rapidly. Shadow Dance not gonna be used. Midas still a-okay because he's in a bad, but off to the side to the Queen of Pain, playing the sniper role as well as the freezing field. Gonna jump in, secure 4 and probably the 5th as well, as Leshrac is completely without backup. Jump in with the right clicks. It's a full 5-man wipe. Queen of Pain was not touched at all in that engagement, and with the Mjolnir, you gotta make sure that someone is pressuring her.
And in this situation, you get an amazing ulti off. You're like, okay, well, there's an Abaddon, there's a Slark. That's an amazing time to cast Black Hole. But in this situation, think of Queen of Pain as a sniper. If you don't manage to catch the Queen of Pain or stun lock her somehow on the back lines, you just saw everybody melted, even though they were getting hit by the Black Hole. So it would have been better if they caught Queen of Pain in the Black Hole than, say, any